What I've done now is I've gone over all my textures, and I've brought in more maps or textures I found online. For instance, these ones, and I've multiplied them into the current textures. I've done that for quite a few different areas. As for the chimney, uh, and throughout the whole model I've done that and put it worked on the window sills to make it look much more dirtier, and applied it throughout the overall whole model. So if I go into my 3D Max, um, if I turn that into normal, you'll see that I've done that pretty much through um, all the different options there. So I'll put that back to soft light, so you can see onto the roof as well. I've done that similar to the door. For the barrel, I've duplicated the texture. Duplicated the texture and multiplied them and added a rim around it. So if I look around my model now, it's appearing much more dirtier. It feels more detailed, and a much more believable cottage. So if you look at the stonework, it's looking better than the one that I had done before as well. So you can see the amount of detail that's sticking out, and dirt makes it look more believable. So you can do that, obviously paint onto the texture. You'd only the reason why you would be unwrapping this way, so let me just turn that off and turn the UV map editor on. Open UV editor. So let me just bring that around. As you can see, I've even updated the windows. If you look onto the side, you can see I've just changed the color of them in Photoshop, updated that. And again, if you just focus on the main area, you would unwrap like this only if you're going to add all this dirt and all this texture in there. So if I update that, you'll see that's why you would unwrap a model like this. Otherwise, you can use a generic kind of a tileable texture and get it to just apply it to the overall building, and then obviously do a similar one for the roof. The reason why you would go and unwrap a model like this, that's why models like this usually appear in game. You're not going to usually do this for an architectural visualization project where you have a new building. You're not going to add dirt and stuff like that, so you wouldn't be doing that for that purpose. You'd use much more generic textures, much more newer looking textures. So for gaming models, or models that appear in a scene, like in a movie, you usually would like there to be some kind of dirt mark and overlays of dirt and stuff like that. So if we look at them two right now and compare the two, I think the newer one, the one that I just done now in this tutorial, looks much better. So if we go back up here and look at the barrel texture, if I find it, yeah, I should have been naming everything, but I haven't. Okay, should be here. Okay, there we go. So if we look at that, that was the original one. I basically just made a copy of it and put linear burn on it. So if I take that to normal, that was what it was like. So I made a duplicate of the actual texture, applied a linear burn to it to make it look much more darker and sticking out with all the lines. Then just created a simple shape, just two rectangles like this, and filled it with color, and double clicked it and applied these effects to it, which are your bevel, inner glow, pattern overlay, and drop shadows, and that kind of made it look like as if it was sticking out, to give it that kind of barrel effect. So I can obviously generate a normal map to make this effect look even better. But if we go back in now, I even applied some dirt map to the the door to make it look a bit old and dirty. So that's pretty much the tutorial there. I would like you to obviously try to do this to the closest. Try to make it different. In this tutorial, I've made my second cottage much different than my first one. So if this one even appears in the same location, you'll see that there's a way difference. This one's a slightly a bit more newer, but I like the look of the new one. Again, if you go back a few videos, you'll see that the scale of these stones were much bigger. Again, there's some things that I would like to still fix, but I'll leave it the way it is right now for the purpose of for this tutorial. I think it's fine. So yeah, if ideally I would have liked to utilize more of the texture space. As you can see, there's a lot of space that's going to waste. Try to not waste too much space. Try to utilize it. So this texture area for the wall brick could have been much bigger. Even the tiles on the top could have been bigger. That way I would have been utilizing more of the space. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the tutorial. And there is an alternative way which I'm going to be showing you how to apply a generic kind of texture. So I'll quickly do that in the next video. But that's it for the for this week's tutorial.